Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. You're welcome. Oh, no. Hello, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me? If you can answer in the chat box if you can hear me. Okay. All right. All right. Welcome everyone to this wonderful session. I'm your host. My name is Cynthia, and I'll take this session for today. Let me share my screen. All right. Welcome, everyone. So officially, I'd like to welcome you to this event. Thank you for joining us today. We are thrilled to have you here for this insightful session on what recruiters are looking for. So whether you're a job seeker aiming to enhance your employability, or you're an HR professional looking to sharpen your recruitment strategies, you are in the right place. So if you're on the hunt for a job and you can't seem to get it right, look no further. All your questions will be answered today. All right. So a brief introduction about myself. My name is Cynthia. I'm a human resources consultant with One Pyramid Consulting, and I'm a dedicated professional with One Pyramid Consulting. Today, I'll be taking us through this session. If you'd like to connect with me, the organizers will be dropping the link to my LinkedIn profile. You can send me a message. I'll be happy to take questions after this event. Feel free to send me a message if you have something to talk about or share as regards this session or any other thing at all. I'll give room for that. So let's get into it. Okay, so let me talk about One Pyramid Consulting Limited. This is my company. One Pyramid Consulting Limited, we are your one-stop human resources solutions partner. We are dedicated to providing comprehensive HR and technology services that meet all your business needs. So we offer a wide range of services that span across HR consulting, outsourcing, recruitment, background checks, training and development, payroll management, and the likes of that. So we have well over 500 staff that we manage both within the country and outside the country. We ensure effective HR solutions for our clients. So if you want to know more about One Pyramid, our organizers will also be pasting the link to our website in the chat box. So feel free to go through our websites and check us out. All right. So let's go into the topic of today. All right, the topic of today, and that's what brought us together today, what recruiters are looking for. So it's such a very timely and valuable topic, seeing that the labor market is continuously evolving. New trends are coming up, economic changes, technology advancements, and shifts in industry demand. So understanding what recruiters are currently prioritizing will help job seekers stay competitive and stand out. They will be able to align their skills and experiences with these priorities. And candidates can better position themselves for success in any dynamic job market. So therefore, the reason for this topic, which is why our organizers have been able to generate 15 critical questions that are aligned with all the questions that need to be answered. So today we'll answer all of them, trust me. And I will briefly introduce our guest speaker, who will help us gain clarity today and understanding to these questions. Let me introduce her. Our guest speaker is Aderonke Salami. All right, she's a celebrity HR for today. So permit me to talk about a little about her bio, and after that, I'll hand over the floor to our guest speaker. All right. So Aderonke Salami is an ECOWAS youth ambassador and an HR professional who wears many hats. She is the lead consultant of Unicorn HR Consulting and currently the managing partner of Unicorn Digital NG. With over 12 years of experience working with various organizations in the service industry, she is also the convener of the Unicorn HR Circle, a platform dedicated to HR professionals across different countries. Aderonke has received numerous awards. She has collaborated with notable international and national brands to drive their product development through brand influencing. She's a TEDx speaker and was awarded the Nelson Mandela Leadership Award of Excellence in 2023 by the West Africa Youth Council. She's a board member of the IP Business Capital. Wow, I am so inspired, ma'am. I would like to introduce our guest speaker so she can take over the floor. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us about your background from the onset to this very day, ma'am. Aderonke.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to the organizers of this event. It's such a pleasure to be here. So a little bit about myself, my professional background from onset till now. It's been a journey. It's really been a journey in terms of being where I am today. I think my journey, I would say, started about when I was 16, when I started working. I mean, my parents were the kinds of people that believed their children should, should be working just before they even get into school. And that was, I think that was, I would say that was a basis for who I am today, because there are a lot of things that I learned as a young teenager that is still currently helping me till now. I studied English as my first degree, and then went on to do a master's in international relations and public service. And from there, that was my journey, starting. I think the reason behind one of the things that I do, as in being the convener of the Unicorn HR circle stems from my experiences as a young professional who was still trying to find her way. So initially, when I finished my NYC, that was the year that the government decided that every youth corper should be a teacher. And it was quite challenging because I never taught before and I was young, having to handle children at such a young age wasn't very easy, but I kind of navigated myself because of the experiences I've had as a young child, or a young teenager, working in corporate industry. But the thing, I would say that where I had a major breakthrough in my career was when I became the branch manager for a firm in Lagos, and it kind of opened my eyes to the HR industry. Right, up until then, I had been doing a lot of HR work, but I didn't have. I would say I didn't have the qualifications, right, and I didn't have the the structure that I have right now. I didn't have it then to realize that HR was what I was doing as part of what I was doing as the branch manager of that organization. But going forward after my stay at that role, I realized that I needed to put a structure to myself, and that was where the HR came. And I went on to do a master's within that space, and here I am today. It has helped me become an ECOWAS Youth Ambassador. It's helped me to, have numerous awards, and and not only that, for me, it's not even really, the benefits or the achievements that I've gotten, but the fact that I have a community of young professionals where I can actually share and help them and groom them to become better professionals in the workspace.
Okay, apologies. I think my network went off for a bit there. So thank you very much, Mr. Aderonke. So we'll dive into the 15 critical questions immediately. Let me quickly share my screen again. If the organizer can please allow me to share my screen. All right. So in the list of the 15 critical questions, the first one we have here is, who is the perfect candidate? Who do you think is the perfect candidate? Can you share that with us?
All right. Let me first say that there's no perfect candidate. Reason being that a lot of people have diverse, knowledge, skills, expertise, and experiences, and so as a recruiter, I've learned that it's kind of subjective to actually have a perfect candidate. But that's not with that. I mean, notwithstanding, we as recruiters usually have an ideal. And an ideal candidate is someone who is basically well prepared.
Okay.
When I say well prepared, in terms of I like to share with people that when it comes to job searching isn't just about your CV alone. Job searching isn't about, going for the interview. That's even just a part of the whole. As an ideal candidate, one of the things that you should be thinking of is from the beginning of when you want to apply to when you actually get the job, even after you get the job. So the idea is that as a candidate, you need to be able to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats that you have. I call it the SWOT analysis of the candidates, right? Helping them to understand that this is what I'm able to do. Having that knowledge based on skills assessments, based on personality tests, based on even trying to understand the kind of role that you can actually achieve. So, for instance, let me give an example. For instance, you don't want to apply for a job where you are a customer service person, but they're asking for a HR person or an HR executive with 5 years experience. They do not correlate, right? Yeah. Now, when we talk about being a perfect candidate or the right candidate, let me use the word the right candidate. What you want to understand is, if you're going to apply for any job, it's important that you have an idea of what the job description is. What are you looking at? What are you expected to be doing in that organization if they eventually pick you? So if you have that at the back of your mind, you know that you need to be able to realize if you are eligible for that role or for that job role. Once you're able to find that, then you have to have a resume or a CV that is tailored to that role. Because it's easy for you to, I see so many people who use one CV to apply for numerous jobs. They apply, so the same CV applies for customer service, applies for IT, applies for HR, applies for operations. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to be picked because you haven't really focused on the role itself. A perfect or a right candidate also focuses on understanding the pain points of the organization. What are you expected to bring to the table? That's what's supposed to be in your mind. You need to be able to know what you're expected to bring to the table. So it's not only about how much are you going to get at the end of the day. It's about what are you bringing to the table as an employee into that organization. And the last thing I also want to say is that your preparation really, really matters in terms of applying for that role till the end of till you're called to become a staff of that organization. You need to be able to understand how to apply properly. People tend to, I like to say they tend to throw their CVs at recruiters.
Yeah.
Do that without properly applying for the role. If you have specific instructions that are given to you, you need to be able to follow those instructions to the T, right? But bear in mind that even though we don't have a perfect candidate or we don't have a right candidate, I like to say that whatever job description that you see out there, it is also an ideal or the perfect, job description. We as recruiters understand that we cannot get somebody as perfect as that. So I say to people, who are job searching, that say, if you have 70% of what that job is requiring, please go ahead and apply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've gotten the fact that there is no perfect candidate, but actually the right candidate who has been able to understand the company's pain points and is able to align their resumes, for the applications. Thank you very much, Aderonke. So we move on to the next question. What are the top 3 qualities or skills that recruiters are prioritizing in candidates right now?
All right. I actually like this question because we've we've gone from where everybody needs to have a technical skill. Everybody now has a technical skill. For you to do any job, you should be able to, I mean, you know how to do the job. But these days, top three qualities or skills that any candidate should have, I would say emotional intelligence. I mean, that should be number one, actually. Emotional intelligence is very important for you to be, considered, right? Second thing is problem solving. You remember when I was saying that, what are you bringing to the table? A lot of recruiters who are representatives of organizations will tell you that they need someone who can solve the problems of any organization. It's okay for you to, it's okay for you to actually, know how to do the job. But if you're knowing how to do the job does not tally with solving a problem, then you're redundant. So I would say problem solving. And then the third one I would say is adaptability. Adaptability in the sense that if we've noticed, the COVID era changed a lot of things for us, right? And because it changed a lot of things for us, what has happened is that even the recruitment space, even the work environment has changed. So organizations are looking for individuals that can easily adapt to new trends quickly and fast, right? Where if something new comes up in the customer service space, you know how to, immediately, adjust yourself to the current skills, right? And I think, let me just add this bonus to say that being, how do I put this now? Being able to learn, because there's some people that will tell you they've been in a particular role for the last 15 years, doing the same thing for the last 15 years. That is not an encouraging sign. It means that you're not ready to adjust, you're not ready to change, because change is constant and the world of work is actually changing rapidly. So it is very important that those three skills plus the bonus would help you when you're trying to get a job.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've gotten the fact emotional intelligence, problem solving, and adaptability. Thank you very much for that tip. So I'm very sure our participants would have their questions later on coming up. So if you have anything coming, any question that's popping up your head as we go on, please just send your question to the chat box, and later on we'll answer your questions. So let's move on to the next one. How has the need for hard and soft skills impacted recruitment today? How has the need for the hard and soft skills impacted recruitment today?
We see that, like I mentioned earlier, we see that the world of work is changing. And in recruitment today, a lot of the issues, and like I was sharing with someone recently that in the last 2 months, I've been trying to recruit candidates for 4 particular roles. And I've only been able to fill up only just one. And it's not for the lack of candidates, it's for the lack of the fact that people don't understand what is expected of them. Now, hard skills are basically technical skills. Those are things like your what makes you able to deliver on the job. Whereas soft skills are skills that helps you to manage that job while you have even gotten it. And so recruitment these days has actually shifted more to the soft skills era. Reason being that even when we finally employ a candidate, right? The truth is, no matter what organization you're going to go into, and no matter the experiences that you have as a person, you will still need to adapt into the new organization that you're going to. So if you have the technical skills and you don't have the soft skills, it's going to counterbalance itself, because you're not able to balance your hard skills and your soft skills. And this has impacted us as recruiters, today, in the sense that we're finding it hard to find candidates who can actually manage the job. So they know the job, they know how to do the job, but they can't manage the job. Because if you look at this era that we're in, we've gone from competition to collaboration. We've gone from working alone to working as a team. Even though we're in the remote spaces, I mean, I know sometimes we have meetings, we start the day with from 8 o'clock. I mean, you have meetings to like 12, 1. I mean, and it's in that meeting that everybody's bringing up their ideas, bringing up, they're taking the company forward. If you can't pull your weight as an employee or a potential candidate for this organization or a potential employee for this organization, it will become hard for you to actually manage being in that role, especially if it's just that you have the hard skills and you don't have the technical skills.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I would say it's impacted how we as recruiters actually look at candidates. We don't just want to take on someone who knows how to do the job. No. Like for me, one of the things when I'm going to speak to any candidate, as much as I make my interview sessions very easygoing for people, I'm very careful to understand the kind of strategies that you bring to the table as a candidate for any role that I'm recruiting for, right? Because that way I understand and I'm confident that the candidate I'm presenting to the organization is able to deliver on the work that they say they do. So you're not just packing accolades for accolades' sakes or technical skills for technical skills, sake, but you are showing that if you're left with a particular role, you can actually move to the next role. I'll share this experience with you guys. I'm currently working with an organization where they are actually doing a succession planning for the organization. And what we've realized with what we've done is that there's a lot of redundant roles, because there's some people that just have their roles there and they can't move to the next level because they're lost in between just having their hard skills and moving to the next level with their soft skills, right? This is where you talk about performance evaluation. What have you done over there? People just assume that it's because, oh, I know how to do this job. I have 10 years experience in doing this job, and that is it. No, it goes beyond that. If you're left, and this is where entrepreneurship comes in, the fact that you are an employee, but you think like an employer. Right? We need to see all these kinds of things come out to play when you come for interviews. It is very important. Don't just come and read or you've crammed the questions to specific you believe are specific questions pertaining to
generic
answers.
Yes,
thank you. Generic answers. And that's what we see these days. Go beyond your generic answers. Tell us stories about how you saw a problem and how you solved it. It goes a very long way. It shows that you've gone just beyond trying to understand what your role is to, making sure that the organization benefits from how you come into the organization. So that's how we've been able to see that.
That is really wide and explanatory. In fact, it's more like, okay, even if you're applying for an internship and you don't have any experience, even prior school or before time, you didn't have any experience, you can actually volunteer. Make sure you build your hard skills, your soft skills, not just the technical aspect. Try to build yourself even in terms of adaptability, agility. Try to know what's happening before you get on board. Thank you very, very much, ma'am. Okay, so let's move on to the fifth question. How has a technology such as AI and machine learning change the way recruiters screen and select candidates? This is a tip that, want to know the thing that recruiters screen and select with candidates. Like the technology, like AI and machine learning, change the way recruiters screen and select candidates. We want to know this tip. Please share, ma'am.
I mean, in this day and age, AI has come to stay. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I know that a lot of people get scared about, AI and all of that, but I think at the end of the day, AI has been established to make things easier. Like, it has been established to make our lives easier, to be very honest. And I would say that AI is, has been doing a lot of fantastic work. I used to remember when I first started doing recruitment, and that was far back, almost um, 8 years ago or so, thereabout. That's every CV. I mean, and that's why you hear people say things like, um, oh, recruiters just look at your CVs in 30 seconds. It's true. They look at your CV in even less than 30 seconds these days. And I'll tell you for a fact that it's AI has shaped the industry, especially our own industry, the HR industry, in the sense that we now have tools that help us screen candidates. I mean, it's amazing what this does. And that's why we always like to tell people that, see, do your CV in such a way that it is ATS um um you know compliance. When I say ATS, I mean automated tracking system. So what does what does that do? What that does is that it screens candidates based on the predictions that has been given to that AI. So take, for instance, customer service. You know that some of the skills that you're expecting from customer service is the ability to solve problems, is the ability to handle customers. The skills, if those specific keywords are not in your CV, it is difficult for that candidate to get to the next level where you'll be asked to come for an interview, right?
Yeah.
And these days, it's amazing, surprisingly, in 2024, that I still see some weird looking CVs, even with the amount of information that we have out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's quite amazing, because I don't. I mean, all you have to do is just research, type out. I mean, there are a lot of tools that can help you these days. All these ChatGPT and things like that. They bring out these keywords for you that you can infuse into your CV.
Yeah.
That will make you be a potential candidate, right? Or get to the next level where you're being interviewed. So I would say that AI has done a lot of help for us to some extent. The second thing I'll say is that it has actually reduced bias, because the truth is, and that's why we always tell candidates, don't put your picture on your CV, because some recruiters, they're humans. Please forgive them, right? They're humans. Do you understand? It might be the day that somebody annoyed the recruiter is the day they will look at your CV. They will not say, why is this person black? Why does this person have this eye? Well, I mean, no, I'm just joking, actually, but I'm just saying that AI has helped us to reduce a lot of bias. I mean, and they're actually called unconscious bias, because you would not even know that you're even consciously having a bias against somebody. And that's why we say, remove your personal details. Anybody that needs your personal details will ask you during the onboarding process, right? Not when they're trying to get you on board, right? So it's very important to understand that AI has come to stay, and AI has made things easier for a lot of recruiters these days to actually screen candidates. So as candidates, it's important that you're up your game. You're not just applying for applying's sake. People still have that mentality of, let me just apply for 100 applications and see which one just comes. No, you have to be very strategic, because even the AI is being taught to be strategic. So AI has come to stay, like I said, and it's helping a lot of recruiters even from the beginning, which is when you apply for the job, even till the onboarding day, the day that you start work. Everything is already tailored to how you are receiving, getting into the organization. I was recently speaking to one of my fellow colleagues in the industry, and he was talking about how he that a candidate had reached out. I mean, a candidate had applied for a job, and then he immediately sends a rejection mail, and the person threatened him. And I'm saying to him that he said he had to tell the person that it's not me, or it is AI. I'm not the one that is, I'm not the one that is responding. While I'm the one who instructed the AI to respond, I'm not the one that's actually responding. So we need to understand that AI has really come to change. I mean, has really come to stay, and has changed how we as recruiters screen and select candidates.
Yes, thank you very much. And I've gotten also the part where we have to, utilize the use of AI, ChatGPT, making use of it in a positive way. We have all these tools as accessible, and we can use them, very properly without actually sounding too generic. Try
Yeah.
to channel your resume according to what the recruiter is looking for. All right. Okay. So the sixth question would be, how should the perfect resume look and be presented?
All right. Okay. I like that because it's a follow up from what we were just talking about. So when you want to look at your or you want to create the ideal right resume, you have to start from your contacts. All we really don't need your personal details. And it's redundant. Nobody needs to know whether you're APC or PDP. Nobody needs to know whether you're a Christian or a Muslim. Not at that beginning stage where you are applying, right?
Yes.
You can have that during the onboarding process. Those are things that will be asked of you when you're fully coming into the organization. But in the beginning, you really don't need that. So what you need is your contact details. That's your name, your phone number, a very workable phone number, please. Because there's some people that will put phone numbers. They can put 2, 3 phone numbers there. Nobody really has time to be looking at the second, third phone numbers. Just the first one is okay. So make sure the first one you're actually putting is the one that they can reach out to you. The other ones are just in case or in cases, right? And then your email address, very important, because that's how they will communicate to you. Then this is optional. Your LinkedIn is a perfect way to sell yourself. All the things that you've done, all the things that you talk about and you share. It's more like I call LinkedIn your, how do I put this now? Your online resume, right? Your online legal documents. That's how I put it, right? Because it just shows how people look for you and see what you're doing without necessarily speaking to you. Then once you're done with that, the very next thing is your professional summary. Now, I want to clarify something here because I see a lot of people do career objectives. Now, there's nothing wrong with putting career objectives. You're only putting career objective if you have 0 to 2 years of experience. Please, this is very important. 0 to 2 years of experience can go ahead and say career objective or professional objective. Because when you look at the word objective is that this is what you aim to do, right? But once you're already clocking 3 years and above, you are not looking for, or you're not looking to say this is what you aim to do, right? You are saying this is what I have done. Can we see the difference? That's the difference.
Yes.
Professional. And that's where you have the professional summary. Your professional summary is basically like a short summary of everything that the rest of your CV has. And that's why I say 30 seconds is what a recruiter will use to review your CV to say, okay, let me see if this person is worth, continuing with. It's a short summary of all your experiences so far. And so that part is very, very important. You have to make sure it is up to par. Once you've done that, the next thing is your skills. This is where a lot of people get a bit of confusion, where they put their work experience or their education after. We're not saying that it's wrong to do your education after or your experiences after, but I will explain to you why I say your skills are very important to share. Once a recruiter has seen your professional summary and seen that, oh, this person looks fantastic, let me see what the person can do. that's where your skills come in. I want to see what can you offer. I'm going to see that before I know the experiences that you actually have. So that's why we have the professional summary, the skills, then your work experience. Your education is after your work experience because, you've really done, it's just an added advantage to say that I'm actually a graduate. It's not like I didn't go to school, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we have it at the back. Now, it now depends on the organization, because some organizations that can be specific and ask you to, the focus should be on your education. The focus should be on your work experience. This is the reason why I say you cannot use one CV for every type of job vacancy, because there are specific instructions that you are given. If those instructions are given and you don't tailor it, you've automatically just disqualified yourself, because nobody's going to look at that CV without you not following the instructions. So this is very important. Contact, professional summary, your skills, your work experience, education, then any other thing which is like your achievements, what else? Your achievements, your trainings, anything outside of that. Now, there's a bone of contention with hobbies and interests. I like to say that if your hobbies and interests do not align to the job role, please remove it out. All those cooking, except you're a chef, cooking can be added as, do you understand, as your interest or your hobby. But if it's not, if you're a customer service and you're putting cooking or playing volleyball, it really doesn't align with it. It's just redundant. Do you understand? It's just there, right? So that's how you actually have to structure a very good resume.
All right. So in summary, I hope everyone is taking notes concerning this, because this was like one of the most popular asked questions. How can I, make my resume stand out? So Mr. Aderonke has stated this from the summary, the objective, the skills, and your hobbies. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Number 7. How does diversity and inclusion impact recruitment today? We would like to know that.
Things are changing. Let me start with that. So diversity and inclusion has super impacted recruitment today. We don't do things the way we used to do them anymore. In the sense that, like, I'll still use the COVID era as an example. The COVID era, in the sense that recruitment used to be so rigid, where you have to come for the first interview, you come for the second interview, third. Some people go as far as 7, 8 interviews before they are even selected. But things have really changed, because we now have globalization help us as the world. Let me use as the world bring us all together. And so if there is no diversity and if there's no inclusion, it will be difficult to have people from different parts of the world work with us, in our own sphere. So I'll be more specific. Now, we see a lot of young Nigerians, young professionals, working with international brands. We call it D&I or DEI. If these individuals are not included in the recruitment process, it will be difficult for organizations who are looking to bring in people from Nigeria, right, to be included in their own system. It will be very hard, right? And that's why diversity and inclusion has really impacted recruitment today. And one of the major things that this has done is it has created what we call employee or employer branding. You see situations whereby organizations, are changing the workplace culture to include people from different backgrounds, right? We now have people with different backgrounds, different systems, different thought processes coming to the organization. Like you guys One Pyramid, you have over 500 staff across different countries. You're going to have that diversity and inclusion policy whereby whatever is being done in Kenya can be adapted to what is being done in Nigeria. Whatever is being done in the UK can be adapted to what's being done in China. And it is clear to us as recruiters that we can't be rigid with how we do recruitment these days. Let me give you an example. Just 2 days ago, one of my how do I put it? My mentees, I don't like to say mentee because I don't like mentorship, but like she reached out to me to say she had gotten a job and she wanted me to walk her through her interview process. And one of the things that they did for her was, rather than do a face-to-face interview with her, they did a chat box, as a chat-to-chat interview with her within a time limit. It blew my mind. It was fantastic because in my head, I'm thinking there's some people that don't like face-to-face interviews. They don't want to come and sit down in front of your office and in front of your face and be asking and be, stammering the answers. You're given 30 seconds to answer a question. You don't have that opportunity to do expo. How do you people say it? You don't have that opportunity, right? It's top of your head. You're answering immediately because you're timed, right? And I felt it was fantastic. Like, that's different. These days, you hear organizations tell you, oh, we want you to do a 1-minute video telling us why you want to take on this role. I see a lot of backlash about that, but I always tell people that please be aware that social media is different from reality. There might be a lot of people screaming and shouting about this, but in reality, there are people actually doing these 1-minute videos. So, diversity and inclusion has really impacted recruitment today. We don't do things the way we do anymore.
Yeah.
Just because I spoke to, that young friend of mine, I'm already thinking to myself, I'm going to inculcate this chat-to-chat recruitment. It makes it easy. It makes me understand the person faster. And I give the person an opportunity to be free without having to see my face and feeling scared that, oh, this is a recruiter, this is recruitment, oh, I'm about to be hired. That kind of pressure is being taken off. So yes, there's been huge impacts, and I would say in a very positive way.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mom. All right, so I'll repeat it again. If you have any questions, please feel free to send a message in the chat box and later on we'll check it out. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Can you shed light on ethical and unethical behaviors when looking for employment?
Okay, yes, this is quite important. Our first ethical behaviors that you should have, right? When you're looking for employment, it's very important that you are being honest and transparent. I know a lot of people, will tell you, don't be so honest because they will not give you the job. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, I'm sure you've seen that video where, I don't know if anybody has seen it, where I think it was Lai Wasabi or so that did it, where he was going for a job interview and he said he could speak French or something. He lied on his resume that he could speak French, only for him to get there and they were doing comment ça va, comment ça. It's very, very important that you are truthful when you're giving information, because these things tend to find a way to catch up with you. Another ethical behavior that I think that you should do is when you're given an opportunity to come to an interview, please be on time. Be ready ahead of time. That's the word I'll use. I know that we have this war, let me use it as war, going on between recruiters ghosting people and candidates ghosting people. The change that we're looking for starts with us. Let me put it this way. The change you're looking for starts with you. If one person begins to change, other people will change as well. So I mean, please, at this point in time, it is important that you get prepared ahead of time. I've had situations where you're given for instance, I don't start my interviews until 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't do early interviews. The reason is I understand that some people are not morning persons. Some people, might have issues trying to connect. I mean, something might just be going on in the, at the beginning of the day that will need, some sort of cold press to help the person move on with the day, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're given that kind of opportunity, please use it wisely. It's very important. So being early, being professional is very important. It's an ethical behavior. If you know from the beginning that you are not going to take on a role, don't string anybody along. It doesn't speak well of you. And let me tell you something, you'll be amazed that the recruitment industry is very, how do I put it? It's very close knitted. So while you think that you are ghosting one recruiter, another recruiter has heard about what you did as the ghoster, right? And they already have okay, let me give an example. So somebody had reached out to me that she wanted to fill in a role for an organization, an international organization that has a branch here in Lagos. So I put it up on my social media status. I put it in my community as well. And there was a particular lady that fit that role perfectly, as in she was fantastic for that role. And so luckily for me, I had the in with the recruiter, the hiring manager. And I said to her, okay, I'll get a few persons for you. When I saw the candidate's CV, I said, oh, I already have somebody for you. Please, go ahead with this person. And she did. She just took it and she was like, oh, okay. There's a link the lady needs to apply for. That she needs to apply and fill out, and then she tried to fill in the form, but she was blacklisted. And so it was a concern for us. Because I'm the middle person, so I kept going back and forth. So I reached out to the person who reached out to me and said, okay, she's being blacklisted. We don't know the reason why she's being blacklisted. Can you get her resume and see how she can be included, right? And the feedback I got was so terrible, so terrible. I was told that she was blacklisted because of something that had happened in the company that she worked for. Wow. And I was I was lost, because how do you explain that to somebody, right? And that's why I said that something, you would just assume that people don't know. They know. And that's why I say social media is really, really different from reality. Don't assume that what you see on social media is reality. The real things that are happening behind the scenes are happening. And so you have to be very ethical in your behavior.
Yeah.
Now, for unethical behaviors, right, ghosting should be the number one thing. I'll say that's like one of the things. And then the second thing is bad-mouthing your current or previous employer.
Oh, yeah.
This thing, as I said, being honest and transparent, you also have to use emotional intelligence in this. Let me tell you the reason why. The reason why is this. The idea of bad-mouthing your previous employer so that it feels like they should take you for the role is showing that you will do the same for the company that you are applying for.
Yeah.
So if you're going to badmouth, you have to be very careful. Don't badmouth in such a way that it is negative. I like to say that I actually tell people that I remember one time I shared on LinkedIn how you can respond to if your organization has been toxic, and how you should respond to it when you are being interviewed. And I got a lot of backlash. That post went so viral that people from all over the world were just different attacks from everywhere. But the truth is this: in as much as you want to be transparent and honest about your um, your experiences. You also have to put emotional intelligence there, because you have to consider that this person is also looking at you based on what you have done before. So if you're going to be showing them that this company is this company is that, this company is that, trust me, you're not getting anywhere. Let me give you an example. My apologies, I like to tell stories.
No
So,
problem. We enjoy your stories.
so
Go on.
I don't know if any of us remembered this time where we had how do I put it? We saw this thing that went viral on I think it was Twitter or X as they call it now, or Instagram. I can't remember. So this girl she live streamed her exits. I think is that what you call it? She was trying to leave the company and she live streamed it. So she went to you couldn't see her, but you could see her video. She was working, or she had worked in a superstore. I think it's in the USA. So she goes, she uses the F word with her manager. She uses the F word with her supervisor. She just went on ranting, abusing everybody. Like, she went on going haywire, and it went viral. Everybody was just hailing her. Yes, good. That's how you deal with them. That's how you. She just kept on going, and the people were egging her on. Like I said, social media is different from what?
From real life.
Really. After, like, I think it was about a year or so after, she had done her drama and left the company and everything. Unfortunately for her, she was going into the corporate space. Superstores are not actually the corporate spaces. They're still like in the, how do I put this now, in the unskilled level. But you get to see skilled professionals work in that kind of environment. And she was going to apply for a job, and then her video tape was played back for her. That's how she lost that job. I mean, you cannot behave anyhow. Maybe if you have your own business and you're running your own thing, yes, you can. I mean, go ahead and badmouth anybody, but please don't do that, because you're still going to need people. At the end of the day, you can't do your job by yourself, right?
Yes.
It's very important that you put on, professionalism at all times. I mean, remove discrimination, make sure that you are as ethical as possible, So yes, that's the, I would say that's ethical and ethical behaviors that you should look out for.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Runke. We still have a lot of questions, but I will still repeat it again. If you have questions, please don't worry. We would answer your questions later on. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's move on to the next one. How has the rise of remote and hybrid work models influenced recruitment practices? How has the rise of remote and hybrid work models influenced recruitment practices?
So, I mean, like I said before, COVID, has changed the way things, has literally changed the way we do recruitment these days. And that has, inculcated, remote and hybrid models. There is now that adaptation of, I mean, these days you see, now, okay, let me put it this way. So our counterparts in the international space, or in the international work environment, we see where a lot of people do 2, 3, 4 jobs at the same time, right? This is as a result of the fact that they do remote work, they do hybrid jobs these days. So you are able to, as a candidate, work with work with different organizations. And this is what is happening here in Nigeria right now. We're having a lot of candidates these days tell you that they're already working with another organization. This is just, so we're having to adapt and change a lot of things. Like I said before, diversity and inclusion is very important when it comes to the recruitment space these days. A lot of the practices that we're having to put in place is changing because of the dynamics of how the workplace is actually changing, right? These days we see that, I'll use this example. So an organization had reached out to me and said, see, they need specific staff. They are allowed to do any kind of job that they want to do, but we just need them to be, when we need to go for meetings, we need them to be available. When we need to go for events, we just need them to be available. But other than that, they're allowed to, do as they please. So things are changing, and it has reason. And I would say that a lot of organizations, if they're not careful and they're still in the old system, will start to become redundant, because by the time you give the offer letter to a candidate and sees that it's not favorable to them, they're going to leave it for something that is more favorable to them. So there's like a very high rise of remote and hybrid models, and that has really influenced the recruitment practices. This is what I was saying also about employer branding. There's now that competition of, well, I need these candidates. I will do this for these candidates if they are very good, right? I remember an organization telling me that, see, I don't mind you going to go and poach this specific role from this specific organization. Like, that's what the person actually told me. I was like, you want me to go and put them out? Say yes, anything that they need, just tell me. I'm ready to pay. It's because they've seen that that organization is moving forward, right?
Yes.
And they want to be able to, adapt what is there, what that organization is doing. So, that rise is, it's transformed, it's actually transformed how we do recruitment. We're not just traditional anymore. We're now thinking about diversity and inclusion. We're thinking about employer branding. We're actually changing the scope of our recruitment processes. Like I said before, where it's now chats, video, as opposed to you traveling all the way from point A to point B just because, you're trying to get a candidate or you're trying to get a job. So say that's my thought process towards that.
Okay, yes, because now we have the advent of remote work policies. Yes, both for hybrid and remote roles. So I'm very sure a lot of people would also want to know about that. Yeah, considering this question. For example, candidates who would love to go into remote work. They don't want to find a full-time job. They want a remote work. So what will you tell them?
So I would say that it's important that you are ready for. So the fact that you want to go into remote work doesn't mean that you're not going to do the right things. Because every organization has its policies, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you're doing remote doesn't mean that your policies should not be followed through, right? It's just that things are now being adapted in that area, right? So if that's the area that you're thinking to look into, please be very, very careful. Why I'm saying careful? Because there's a lot of scam jobs out there, right? So you need to be careful. So you need to, and that happened just yesterday. A friend of mine reached out to me, and the job, she had done her interview and everything, and it just looked too good to be true. I just said to her, because they were asking, so the questions they were beginning to ask her started to tend towards something different. It wasn't typically about the job itself anymore. And so I just sensed it, and I was like, okay, can I see the email address? Because the organization that she applied to is actually a legit organization, right? She had done her research and everything, but she had failed to see the email that was sent to her. And the email was definitely not the same as, that of the organization's email. And so, oh my goodness, it was such a letdown for her because she was at the verge of giving documentation that would have probably put her into trouble. So remote work, yes, fantastic, but be very careful so that you don't fall into the hands of the wrong people. Yeah. Secondly, I'm going to also say that, like I said, do your due diligence, especially if you are in the content space, social media space, your social media virtual assistants and all of those things. It's important that you have a signed and written document that can take that organization to court, or if there's a need for it, to seek redress, so that you're not at the end of the sharp knife, right? Because we've seen situations whereby individuals or candidates would have gotten the job and would have worked for 1 month only for them not to be paid. So, I mean, all these things are very, very important. Look for people within the organization that you can speak to, that to see if these guys are actually hiring and things like that, so that you are protected at all ends.
All right. Thank you very, very much, madam. All right, let's just move on to the next question. What should candidates keep in mind, when applying for a remote position? It's also similar to what I just asked you. What should they keep in mind when applying for remote positions? Just give us a tip on that.
Well, like you said, I already shared that, but I'm just going to add that, when you're applying, please have a strategy in mind. It's super important to have a strategy, because it will help you know how far along you've been. It will give you more like a smart decision, right? When I mean smart, specific, measurable, all of that, smart goals, so that you're not just applying. All those people that do, so I applied for 1,000 jobs, I didn't get anything. But the reason why they're not getting anything is because they're not doing it the right way. So it's important that you have, it's very important that you have a strategy in mind. Secondly, also, you have to keep in mind that you need to know whether you are you are actually, what's the word I'm going to use? You're actually eligible rather, for this role. If you're not eligible, please don't apply. I don't used to understand why somebody who you see HR manager role, 500,000, you who is a teacher will now go and apply for that role. You are automatically disqualified. Please don't even bother. I'm being serious, because you won't, instead of getting heartbreaks every time, do it the right way. If you know you want to become a HR professional, start from the beginning. Don't just jump because you have 5 years of experience in teaching and think you can go and apply for a job, 5 years of experience, what's it called?
Another field. Yeah.
It doesn't work. They don't tally. So those are things that you need to keep in mind.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So the next one is, what are some common mistakes job seekers make that could easily be avoided? And you have mentioned one right now, which is try to apply for roles that you are eligible for. Can you give us more?
All right. Okay. So I would say that, okay. Another one I would give.
Yeah.
A lot of people who apply for jobs will be, let me give a specific example. Now, if job is in Abuja, and you are in Port Harcourt, and then you apply for the job.
And the job is saying Lagos.
Do you understand? And you have no means of going to, you're not able to go to Abuja. Why are you applying for the role? Especially if there's no, because most jobs would expect you to be within the vicinity of the location. Now coming for the interview, even though you are experienced, you have the qualifications, you have everything. Now coming for the interview, only to be asking, is there a relocation package? When in the beginning, on the job description, there's nothing there showing that there's going to be any relocation package. So that's why I said it's very important that you need to look at the
job description
to see how you are able to see if you are even actually eligible. It really doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Also, it's also important that you prepare ahead. I see a lot of people, yes, like for instance, for me, when I speak to candidates, I always tell them there's no right or wrong answer. What I'm looking for is your ability to deliver on the job, right? I will know if you're not prepared because you will not give me the right experience, right? Those are, common mistakes that, job seekers make. The next thing I'm going to talk about is how you even actually apply. I remember when we started the conversation, I talked about flinging CVs. Please do not fling CVs. Flinging CVs this is what I mean by flinging CVs. You're going to apply for a role and you just attach your CV or you attach a Google Doc link. No hello to the recruiter.
Yeah.
No subject matter. No, we don't know what you're applying for. You didn't tell us what you're applying for. You just make the assumption that the person will just automatically be in your head and know what you're applying for. That's flinging CV. Stop flinging CVs. If you're going to apply for a role, do it properly. The subjects should have what you're applying for. The body should even have like a short, I like to call it love notes. Just say, hello, I'm applying for this role. I believe I'm suitable for this role because of this. Thank you. I look forward to your feedback. Attach your CV, either docs or PDF, but I usually advise you should use PDF. Reason being that PDFs are not easily changed or not easily edited. Once you have a CV, people are nasty and wicked. You go and send your docs. Somebody will change something there and just, make it look like you're not worth it, right? So you have to be careful that it's the PDF that you send. That way it's easier for anybody to see it without having to adjust anything. And then also because documents based on anybody's type of Windows, whether it's a MacBook or what have you, would show, at the end of the day, so that you're not offering something that you say you're not offering at the end of the day. So I would say those are things that you should look out for, and those are the common mistakes.
All right, Aderonke, thank you. Apologies, I was having difficulties unmuting. Frankly, my network is giving me, it's fluctuating. Apologies, everyone. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. I will share my screen though, but let me just ask the question. If you can share some effective strategies for standing out in a competitive job market, would appreciate to have an idea of some effective strategies that we can use to stand out in this competitive job market. What's happening right now? How can we stand out?
Okay, so I would say that the first thing is, like I shared before, I think I'm becoming I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but it's very important. I think that the first thing is to actually do a SWOT analysis of yourself. So identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. That way, what that does for you is that it allows you to know what you are capable of doing. If you're not capable of doing these things, don't go ahead to apply for something that you're not capable of. It just makes you waste your time, waste the recruiter's time.
Okay.
Secondly, like I said, your resume, it needs to be tailored specifically to every job that you are applying for. Because I know there are some people that tend to have, how do I put it now? That they tend to be multifaceted when it comes to their skills. Some people can do HR, some people can do the same set of people can do the same person that can do HR can do customer service. The person that can do these two things can actually do operations. I mean, there are some people that are diversified like that, but
Yeah.
you do not want to be applying for the same CV. I mean, with the same CV for different job opportunities. Then the second thing is, even when those two things have been done, please, I beg thee, network like a pro.
Yeah.
Very important. I mean, you are able to move faster when you have a good network. Like the lady I was talking about to you earlier when I said that she had reached out. I mean, she had I had sent her CV to someone else. It's because she had a connection with me. Is why she was able to say, "Oh, I think I'm capable of doing this role. Please check out my CV, and I'll see if you can recommend me." Right? If we didn't have a rapport, it will not be easy for her to reach out to me. It will just be okay. Send the. I mean, I'll just share the link, and that will be the end, right? But I'm able to go a step further to even find out what the problem was, because she has networked in such a way that we now have a connection together. That's the thing. You can't keep quiet. You say you're job hunting or you're job searching. I don't like to use the word job hunting, job searching, but you're close-mouthed about it. You don't tell people, you don't speak, you just say you're applying for 1,000 job applications, and you're not getting anything. It's because you're not doing it the right way. If you have people within your space, they may not answer you now, but they will remember you, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by networking. Leverage on the network. You will know people. Don't be too shy to speak about your business, right? I'm looking for work, but in this space where you are saying you're looking for work, please be careful that you don't say I'm anything, because that's another problem that a lot of people have. When you ask them, okay, oh, you're looking for a job, what role are you looking at? Oh, anything. No, please, there's nothing
Anything.
like anything. Anything is nothing, which is why I
Yeah.
said if you go back to SWOT analysis, you'll be able to identify what you're good at and specifically say what you need. Now, this brings me to the part where you need, I call it a a 1 minute or 30 seconds, how do I put this now? A 30 seconds meetup, right? In the sense that you you're able to craft a compelling story about yourself within 30 seconds. I like to give this scenario that in the case where you're in the job, I mean, in a job in an elevator with someone like Dangote or Tony Elumelu or the likes, are you just going to keep quiet and be looking at them, or you have the opportunity to have a conversation with them? right? If you're going to have a conversation with that person, right? I mean, this is somebody that's you're probably looking up to. Oh, hello, my name is. Oh, hello, sir. My name is this. This. I do this. I mean, it's you. You need to be able to have that kind of short, compelling story that would help people to understand what you're looking for, what you're capable of doing, and how you intend to achieve it. Those are, so I call it a 30-second elevator pitch. I was trying to remember what it was. 30 seconds
30-second elevation. What can you do? What can you offer at that moment?
I mean, at that period, I mean, just imagine you're in that elevator and someone like Lumini just says, "Oh, hello, how are you doing? What do you do?" And you're not able to talk. That's an error, please. So make sure that as that kind of person is within that vicinity, you have something that's compelling to tell. And you know what that even does? It helps you with whenever they ask you the question, tell me a bit about yourself, right? It helps you because you would be able to say, you know, what you can do, you know, what you've achieved and how you can do better. So that's that part. Then I would also say leverage on social media. Now, remember when we were saying that leverage on social media based on the positive way, in the positive light. Become a thought leader about the thing that you know how to do. So if it's customer service, begin to craft stories about LinkedIn is such a fantastic way. I mean, a lot of people connect to me through LinkedIn, and that's why Cynthia would say that I'm a celebrity. HR, please, I'm not a celebrity. But I'm just saying that because I'm able to share my experiences, my knowledge about the work that I do, it has helped me to build thought leadership, you know, within that space. Also, try to also find your unique selling points. Businesses are not the only ones that need a unique selling point. You as a professional need to have a unique selling point in terms of your soft skills, in terms of your hard skills. Those are very important so that if you're sleeping and they tap you to talk about, oh, what can you do? Yeah, I mean, right from time, I mean, even sleepily, you're telling them what you can do. Anybody that asks me anything recruitment, anything performance, anything you know, career development, wake me from my sleep. I will be telling you and rapping like like a bird, you know. So those are things. And then preparation is key. That's the last thing I'll say, or semi-last thing I'll say. Preparation is key. It is very important that you're prepared ahead of time. Trust me, you would assume that, oh, I can scale this without scaling. No, sometimes some things will meet you off guard. And the last thing is continuous learning. It is very important to learn. Don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. And that's why I always tell people, don't call me an expert. Don't call me, I'm not an expert in any way because I'm a continuous learner. I mean, I soak up so much knowledge. I want to know what is happening. I want to know this. I want to know that because it helps me to become better, right? So you have to continuously learn. I find it difficult when to understand people who tell me that they've been in the same job role without moving an inch for 15 years. It doesn't speak well. So those are things that I'll say would help you stand out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Wow, that was wonderful. That was a wonderful breakdown. All right. So 13 says, what do you see as the future trends in recruitment over the next 5 years? What do you see in the future trends in recruitment over the next 5 years?
So I think I've shared, I believe I've shared a lot of that.
Yes.
AI has come to stay. Nobody should run away. Why? I'm here for it, right?
AI,
but I would say that AI and automation is here to help us make things better, not take away our jobs. So please remove that thought process where you feel like AI has come to take our jobs. No, because the AI still needs people to help it to, manifest. Let me use that word, right? So, I mean, recruitment is going to change. It's already even changing. It's not even, most of these trends that we're talking about are already here to stay. Well, look, we're seeing AI even tell you, you see where I was saying that immediately after the screening, you're getting an immediate rejection letter, because now they used to abuse us that recruiters, they don't like to give feedback. Now we're giving it immediately.
We're not waiting again.
You're getting your feedback immediately if you didn't do well, right? These days, I mean, the future trend is going to also be on soft skilling or skilling up in the soft skills area. Mostly behavioral interviews are going to be coming up more as opposed to skills-based tests. While skills-based tests are going to be there, but people want to know, like I mentioned earlier, people want to know that you can actually manage the job, not just handle the job, right? We're going to also be seeing a globalized talent pool, in the sense that, I mean, we already are seeing these things, but these will become more. We're already seeing that organizations are a mix of Nigerians, British, Indians. There's a lot of everybody is within the same space, fighting for the same things. We're also going to be seeing a lot of merging. I mean, hopefully very soon, a lot of merging in salaries, even internationally. So what employee A is receiving in America is what employee B in Nigeria is going to be receiving as well. We're going to be seeing that in the next couple of years. We're also going to be seeing, like I mentioned before, these things are already happening. We're going to also be seeing a focus on candidate experience. It's no longer about the organization alone. It's also about the candidates themselves. We have to consider that competition is getting steep, and so collaboration is key. So in terms of collaboration, we're seeing that candidates are beginning to collaborate with organizations to tell you that, yes, I'm ready to do this on my terms, right? And I will also say that recruitment or recruiters will also be changing in the next couple of years. It's going to be more data-driven, super data-driven, just to see trends of how things should be. So, for instance, if you say, okay, the recruitment I did for a marketing role was not very favorable. Why is it not favorable? What is the data saying? Why? So it's going to be bringing solutions for the recruiters at the end of the day. And I think employer branding is also here to stay when there's already competition of trying to get better candidates. So yes, the recruitment space is going to be fully changing in the next couple of years.
Wow, it's expanding. It's happening now. It's not far anymore. Yes,
it's no longer
we are seeing
far.
it now. Yes. Okay. So, what is one key piece of advice you would give to anyone looking to improve their chances with recruiters? Just one key piece of advice.
What is one piece of advice?
Yes.
I would say you need to understand your why. Why are you looking for that role? If you're able to identify that why, trust me, you'll be able to know whether you should or shouldn't apply for any role or the other. I like to say that it's not how do I put this now? Your focus shouldn't only be on the money alone. I mean, the money is very important, trust me, because the way the economy is going, you need all the money that you can get, right?
Yeah.
But I would definitely say that you need to understand your why. Why do you want to go into this organization? Is the organization's value for you? If it's not for you, why are you there? This job role, can I actually do it? Why do I want to do this job role? What can I bring to the table? So if you're able to answer your why, trust me, at the long run, you'll be able to solve, a lot of problems that comes with trying to apply for a job in the first place.
All right. So please understand your why. Don't just apply for jobs. Know why you're applying. Know why you want this role, and then you'll be able to channel your strategy why you're going into this job role. And I hope you guys are, jotting down some things. Aderonke has been giving us a lot of tips so far. All right. So for the last question, for those who are looking to become an HR celebrity like you, I know you don't like me saying that, but If you can give us more advice, would appreciate it. This is the last question.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a celebrity.
Okay,
Like
okay. We
Cynthia
can say
pointed at.
we see you as a role model and we want to get better. So what advice
Okay,
would you give? What advice will you give to us, to get to that level? Yeah.
so I would say that be ready to put in the work. It's not, in as much as we look the parts, there's a lot of behind the scenes. Trust me. I remember somebody telling me recently that why is it that um, you will chat you up at 3 a.m. and you're responding? It's because I'm working, right? But it's not to say you shouldn't have a work-life integration, right?
Work-life
But
balance. Mm.
but it's important that as someone who's going into HR, that you are equipped for it. When I ask people, "Oh, why do you want to get into HR?" You hear things like, "I like people." No, you don't like people. Trust me, when you get into HR, you will hate people with so much passion. But what stands
Yeah.
out is that you know you've you've been equipped for the journey, right? Because it's really a journey. You've been equipped for the journey, and when we say equipped, it's the fact that you have not only been prepared in terms of learning, because as you're seeing me, I learn every day. I mean, that I can tell. I was just sharing with you just now that I'm thinking about changing my recruitment strategy to chat. For some people who will prefer that. So I'm going to give the
Yeah.
option of chat to chat, or that kind of thing. So you you know you need to understand that it's not just oh, I've gotten to this level and this is where I stop. You have to continue to discover, um, you know, um, also, like I said, leverage on, your network is very important. Learn from people who you have seen before. I'll tell you for a fact that soak up a lot of energy, soak up a lot of, please let me put positive energy, not negative. So I've learned to soak up a lot of positive energy, learn to, leverage on the network of people who have been there before me. I have mentors who I look up to, I learn from them, and also, to experiment. Let me use the word experiment. Experiment in the sense that I may not always get it right?
Yeah.
So I'm always going to fail forward. And when I fail forward, I'm not going to continue to use what I've known before to move to the next step. And that's what has happened to me, that has gotten me to this level. I share my experiences, wholeheartedly and honestly as well, with a lot of transparency in there. Um, and I think one of the things I also do is to volunteer my time. I do a lot of advocacy, behind the scenes as well, just
Mm-hmm.
helping people. Um, the truth is, for someone like me who is running her own organization, I don't have the leverage of those who have a 9 to 5. So I have to work extra hard to make sure I get to where I am. And the only way I've been able to do that is to expose myself to, because I would say personally I'm an introverted person. I don't like to talk. I'm not one that
Really?
will talk. Really.
Okay.
Most people don't believe me when I say that, but that's the honest truth. I'm an inside person, but I've learned that being an inside person is not going to put food on my table, right? I need to be able to put myself out there, let people see what I can achieve, use the experiences that I've had to build up on new experiences that I'm going to get. And I'm not afraid to be a learner. I can learn from the
Mm.
youngest person, right? A lot of people that I learn from are way younger than I am. And, I'm not ashamed to take on those responsibilities and, learn from them. So I think with that, it would help you to move up the ladder as a HR person. HR is beautiful, but it's a tough journey. Trust me.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, which is also leading me. Thank you for speaking. And speaking of which, we have a training program. So for those of us who want to upskill into HR, seeing the tips that Aderonke has shared for us today, please don't limit yourself. Keep learning. And we have this training program holding this Saturday for us who would like to delve into the world of HR. So thank you very much, Mr. Aderonke, for the whole insightful journey that we've had so far in this session. I would hand over to Damola, who is our training coordinator. He will talk more about this training and then would further answer anyone who has questions for us. So Damola, let me leave the floor to you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adebayo Adedamola, a career advisor and a training coordinator at the One Pyramid Academy. I'm excited to announce our upcoming introduction to HR management training that is scheduled to hold on the 20th of July and the 27th of July. And this training will be starting on just in 2 days, time. This training will be covering essential modules such as recruitment and selection, compensation and benefits, onboarding and orientation, employee relations and engagement, case studies, and group role play. And we have many more. Our outline is so rich with different modules and courses that you'll be needing to venture into the world of HR and to kickstart a career in HR. At the end of this training, you will be having a mock exam, just to see how far we can go into the world of HR. And at the end of this training, our participants will benefit a certificate of participation, a 1-month paid internship for the top 3 students, CV packaging, or revamp.
Okay, I think we lost him there. All right. So basically, let me just round it up. What we are offering is for both students, core members, and anyone who is interested in the field of HR. So, like we said, you have to keep upskilling, reskilling, and learning and unlearning, and there is no limit to it. So these are modules there. Our modules are there stated in the flyer. And if you want more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Adedamola. We will definitely answer your questions on how you can get onboarded, how you can join the waiting list, and also how you can participate in this class. Please don't forget that it's starting this Saturday, and it's not also limited. You can pay ahead for our next training coming up. We have training in advance, in HR and other courses as well. In case you really want to expand, for example, payroll management, please feel free to reach out. We'll definitely, put you ahead of the waiting list. So thank you very much. I will be opening the room now for questions and answers. Please, if you have any questions, you can share it in the chat box. Let's know what. Let's see how we can, sort out your answers. Okay. All right. So in the absence of no questions, thank you very much, Ms. Aderonke. Thank you so much for giving us this wonderful and fantastic deep dive into the world of recruitment and what we should look out for in, submitting applications, so that we don't just submit our resumes and be waiting for responses, not knowing what to do. Thank you for showing us the way. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. So participants can say thank you to Aderonke. Thank you all for joining this session. Till we meet again. All right. Thank you. Thank you all, and bye-bye. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ola. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.